This is a quick course on how to set up your layers in Photoshop when you want to design a layout for pictures, flyers, whatever. With layers, you can start with a blank canvas like this, and you can add information as you need to in that particular one to begin to lay out your document in the form that you decide to. If you don't like that particular graphic, then you have the ability to add that graphic in another form just by having the right layer. You can even set it up so that sometimes you may even want to put a tint on this particular graphic. And the beauty of layers is very simple. With the background, you can add or take away items as you need them to make that item look the way you want. If I decide that I only want one picture on this particular, I have the ability to do that too. And then if I change my mind, I can then bring that picture back. That's how layers help you, and that's what we're going to talk about for the next few minutes. First thing I'm going to do is go up here to File, and we're going to set up New. And it gives you several options. If you look across there, they have some templates already set up, or if you want to go over to the right hand side, you can then set it up by the specific size that you're looking at. If you click on this down arrow next to pixels, you'll have choices. I typically work in inches, other people will work in others. So then I will make sure that, for instance, I'm going to do an 8 by 10, and since it's going to be for print, I want to make sure that it has the quality for print, and that's usually at 300 dots per inch in the resolution section. So I'm going to put 300 in the resolution. Width is 8, height is 10, and you have a choice here also for the background. You can either start off with a white background, or you can go to transparent, which now allows you to set any kind of background that you want. That's up to you. We're going to start off with white. If I want to add layers to this, layers allows me to put information on top of the background so that it either adds to the background, covers the background, or blends in with the background. To add the layers, then you'll go into the right hand corner and you'll see the second icon from the right hand side is a plus. If you click on that, it will allow you to add a layer. Now you can put individual items on there if you want to, like text. Another way to add a layer is you can do a file, and let's say we want to bring in a color, or we want to bring in something different. Let me find something I can bring in here. I'm going to bring in this color. I'm going to first open, and I've got a green color that I brought in as a separate file. I'm going to do a Control A, Control C to allow me to copy that. And then I'm going to bring it back over here and click, and then I'm going to do a Control V. That allows me to put another layer, and you can see the layer here on the right hand side. It is highlighted in gray. That's the green that I brought in. And the way you know it's there, you see the eye. If you take the eye and cut it off, you can't see the layer anymore, you cut it on. Now, I'd like for that green to fill the screen, so here are some other shortcuts that I'm going to give you so that you're able to make that green fill the screen. And the way you do that, you go up and select that particular section. And I'm going to use the first rectangle marquee tool to select the green that I want to enlarge. I'm going to grab it here. And I've selected that now, so I'm going to do a Control T. And with T, I'm able to now enlarge. And as you see, it's enlarging proportional. Now, if I don't want it to, if I wanted to fill the screen once again, what I'm going to do is I am going to hold my Shift key down and pull the color up to the top. I'm going to hold the Shift key down and pull it over till it reaches the edge. And I'm going to hold the Shift key in the middle brackets on these. Right here in these brackets here allow you to spread the tool and fill the screen. And once you have gotten it to the place that you want, you hit Enter, which now will allow you to fill the same screen of that canvas. Now, let's say I don't like that. If I do a Control Z, That is another shortcut key that you'll use on a regular basis. It will take you back to where you were. And I say, okay, well, I did like that. So let's redo that transform. And it fills the screen again. Okay, so that's the first layer we have on there. And you have the option. And the beauty of the layer is if you put it on there and you don't like it, or you want to use it somewhere else later on in this layout, then you have the ability to cut it on and cut it off with the eye next to the layer that you have. I am also going to put some text on here, and I'm going to put it on a separate layer because I may want to move it around and I don't want it to be attached to any of the other layers. So I go to the bottom of the screen on the right hand corner, the second icon, I click a plus. That gives me another layer. It's now highlighted. I will move over to my text tool and click it. You have choices there, but typically the horizontal type tool is what you'll need to type. If you look at the bottom part, you'll also see what colors are selected to do the type. Click on the color, it will give you a color swatch, which will then allow you to either put in the code if you know the code for the particular color that you want. You can either match it by choosing a color from within here on the swatch, or you can take your eyedropper and move it around until you find a color that you like. In our case, I want to do white, and I know white's going to be up here in the left-hand corner. It's going to be pretty close to white anyway. And that's going to give me the color that I want there. And now I'm going to say, this is text for a separate layer. Okay. Now, once I'm through typing, I go back up to the move tool, click on it, and I can now move that anywhere I want to in that particular layer that fits what I'm trying to do. You can also add different functions to that particular text to make it stand out from the back if you need to. So if you go down here to the layer where your text is, you double click on it, you will get this layer style. And you got several choices there. If we start from the bottom, click on it, you'll be able to see what happens. Now you have a shadow, which now brings it away from the background and can even give it the look of a 3D. You also have the outer glow, which changes it somewhat, and you can scroll through each one if you want to. You can put a stroke on it and work through it that way. I'm going to leave the drop shadow on it for right now though. And you hit OK, and so now you can see that this text stands out from the background. Let's add us a picture. I'm going out to Pixabay because Pixabay is one of the services that will allow you to have free images in royal stock that you can use, and you can search by topic, name, or whatever. You just usually have to sign up, and it brings in stunning pictures like this. I'm going to copy this image from the web just to drop it in here real quick. And to drop it in here now, I'm going to hit first, make sure that my selection tool, my move tool is selected. Move back, move here, and I'm going to do a Control V. And what you see, if you look down on the right hand side, it dropped the picture into the design as a separate layer. Once that layer is selected, you can move it up above the text, you can move it behind the text, or you can move the text also by moving around. So that is the advantage of having the layers. Now you can put your text to fit, blend, or whatever you need to do with it. One other point with the picture. Let's move it down here. I want you to see this. Just above the layers is the two buttons that can come in handy for you. One says normal, the other one says opacity. With opacity, if you move it, start moving the slider to the left, you'll see that the picture starts to blend in with the background until it finally disappears, Or if you just want it to be a lighter look and look more like that, we got it at about 24. Okay, that's one way to blend the picture into your background. Here's another way. By going to this screen called normal, you can either darken it, multiply it, color burn it, and you just keep going down through until it gets to the look that you want under the style. So you use this layer style as a way to get to the picture that you want so that it may blend in and fit in with what you're trying to do for this particular graphic. Once again, to get there, you either click on this area here and just scroll down until the picture allows you to see what you like about it. And once you get that particular look, and in this case, I'm going to let it be darkened so that it looks like it's also a blend. Now, every layer has the ability to change sizes as you need to. So if you wanted to enlarge this, you could grab the corner handles and move it out, and it will proportionately extend it. Now, if you move your arrow at a different angle on the corner, you'll see that the arrow changes, and it gives you a look so that you have the ability to rotate this whichever way you want to get it to the style that you want. And that will help out. Also, that's another way of setting up the size of the picture and what area you want the picture in. Once you get the area that you want, hit enter so that you lock in the changes that you have made. One more thing, just like the text, the picture has the ability to have different styles as well. So if you wanted it to have a drop shadow, you could do that. In this case, I don't think it fits, but that's one of the possibilities. Every layer can perform all of these functions that you want in terms of making each layer look different to fit the need that you have. I'll go back out and pick one more picture. Let's see here. That's a stock picture. Now, some of these pictures on Pixel Bay will cost you, and we'll use this guy as an example. Okay. I'm going to copy this image. And that one is copyrighted, as you can see, but it's going to be good for our presentation. We'll do a Control V. And if you look closely, it has also set up another layer with this guy on it. One thing about layers, you can name each layer if you want to. So in layer 3, I'm going to put man. Okay. For layer 1, I'm going to click on it, double click, and I'm going to call it green bat. And layer number 2, I am going to call it outdoors. Now, in this particular case, I want to do something. I want to put this man in this picture. Do a Control T, and I'm going to enlarge him so you can see where he is. And you can see this I stop. All of that's copyrighted. You could not really use it, but we're doing it for educational purposes, so that should be fine. Now, I don't want that gold back on there. So I've got a couple of ways of doing that. I can either go up and select the man and pull the man out and put that man into the picture, or I can then select the gold and then erase it. So there are a couple of ways we could do that. Here's the first way I'm going to do it. I'm going to go up, and the fourth tool down, I'm going to do Object Selection Tool. And then at the top, I'm going to say Select Subject. And Photoshop does a pretty good deal of picking out the subject. At that particular point, I can either copy that subject, Control C, and then do a Control V. And that, if you look over here on the right-hand side, you'll see another layer with that particular person. And now, what do we have? We have the man now without the gold background. And all I did was make another layer with a copy of the man on there. And then I closed the eye on the first layer we did with the man. And now the man is standing somewhere in the field. And I might even put him down over here, okay, to show he's pointing somewhere else. So that's one way of extracting that person from the view. Here's another way to extract that person. Let's go here and do object selection again. And let's pick out, make sure you're on the right layer now, okay? And we're going to select the subject. And it's done a pretty good job. Now I want to erase the background. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to select on my top, and I'm going to say inverse that selection on that screen. And I am now going to go get an eraser, and what I'll do is I will erase the background of this guy. So that's also another way to do it, and it could come in handy every now and then. It depends on what effect, whether or not you only want part of the background taken out or you want all of the background. You have the ability to go through and drop a subject in there, use whatever parts of the background that you want, and then erase the other. Now, once you're happy with that, the way you get rid of the marching ants is you do Control D, and that takes the marching ants off of it, and then you're back to editing. So that's a little bit about putting layers, and you just keep adding layers on. Remember, the top layer is the one that will be seen if it is covering something else up. So I'm going to move this guy, and as you can see, the top, because the top is over the text, you now have the text hidden behind this layer. So you might be thinking to yourself, if I have a layer that is covering an area, what do I do? Do I have to just move it out of the way, or how do I overlap this text? Look in the right-hand corner again, down toward the bottom under layers, and look for the words. I'm going to click on it, hold my mouse down, and I'm going to move it. I said I'm going to move it, and voila. As you can see now, the text is now on top of the other person. So likewise, on other parts of this particular graphics, you just look and see what you want to move up a level, and then you decide how you're going to do that. Boom. That scenic picture is gone. Well, kind of. We'll just change the order of the layers. Remember, once again, top layer takes precedent over the bottom layer. So those are the kind of considerations that you need to think about when you are putting together the layers and coming up with the effects and the blending mode.